StarrJi-young Blue. Ji-young Yu. Actor and executive producer Nicole Kidman. Right here. And please welcome creator, writer, director, and executive producer Lulu Wang. Lulu, it must be fun for you to see your fantastic international cast all sitting in one place. What did it feel like for you to assemble this group after working so long and hard on the preparation and scripts?
I mean, it was just such an honor. It was really incredible. I always say it's like kind of like putting together a dinner party. And Nicole says it's like putting together a family, which I think is the same thing. But that's really what it is. You're trying to, you don't know the chemistry, you don't know how, everybody's so different, everybody has so many different experiences, and to see it become this melting pot of people who are now a family and spend so much time together in this foreign place, it just was really beautiful.
That's up to this woman here.
Yeah.
But what I loved about the series and what I think makes it so fascinating is the non-linear aspect of it. And it's very unusual television because you have to really, I call it cinema television because it's really made as 6 hours to watch as 6 hours. Not episodic television, which is still fantastic, but it's like, this is a different landscape to exist in. So when I perform it and act, I'm not thinking of the audience and the story. Maybe I should be more, but I don't. I really try to be and exist emotionally within the moments.
Yeah.
And I leave a lot of that to the direction.
For Mercy, and yet it's all having to be in your face, not through lines of dialogue. And you do it so effectively. You bring us there. We are feeling the panic that Mercy is going through. Was that frightening to do? Was it challenging to do? What were you thinking for this moment?
Yes, all of the above. I think what was really challenging about this is it's my first time having a lead role in film or TV ever, so a lot of this... So a lot of it really was trial by fire and learning as I went. What was great about this in particular is it was one of our first days working together, and we didn't really meet until we started filming on our first day of filming together. So the level of...
That was intentional.
and it worked. So the feeling of working with someone with your stature and doing something so amazing with you, it scared me enough that there wasn't like a whole lot of it. when you know Nicole Kidman's chasing you through a hotel, you're kind of freaked out as is. So I think there's that, but what's also amazing about that is recalling what we were doing. We were doing it all overnights, and I remember one of those sequences of the Oneers, who was shot by the late great Manu Wakai. He and Lulu and I and Anna, our DP, we worked so hard to make sure that sequence worked perfectly, and I think we were in like the 30s takes by the end of it. I think we maybe went up to 32, 35 to make sure that we really, really got it right.
Brian and Starr, you guys are at the party too, obviously, as we saw. What was this sequence like in your remembrance? Because there's so much, as we're gonna see, intimate stuff between so many of the characters in this piece, but this was a huge production number, if you will. Did it feel like a different day or night doing this scene?
You go.
You go. I'll go. Ladies first. You should go. Okay. We do this all the time. Just so you know.
It's a great bit.
Yes, it's wonderful. It was an amazing experience. I think to be a part of this cast and crew is a dream come true, and to really kind of be in the moment, especially through our characters, is something that you strive to do, and in that moment it was so exhilarating, to be completely honest. But through the characters, I think with Clarke, it was one of those moments, especially in their relationship, where they're trying to find the sense of normalcy, this attachment to whatever life used to be, and we know we can never go back there, but we got to take the steps to try. So in the storytelling, which is done so beautifully, it's this kind of pivotal moment, and then as you guys just saw, what happens after that is so impactful in so many different ways that it was just an exhilaration, like I said, to be a part of.
Was it one of the larger people scenes that you can recall ever doing, StarrJi-young?
In the history of my existence, yes. But also, I think for me, it did feel very different in the sense that it was such a grand scale, and the Hilary storyline with Margaret is still so. I feel like I'm being so loud. Is this?
You're fine.
Oh, okay. Sometimes I don't need a mic is the problem.
Be loud.
Already very loud. No, that storyline is still in the audience's perspective. So, what's the word I'm looking for? Just not. It doesn't make sense yet. So I think it was kind of this very specific moment for me in filming of having the specificity of our friendship and all the stuff that's underneath that, and having the relationship that David and I have, all of that's boiling under, and I just had to make sure that that was there, even if no one knew what it was. I just had to know that talking is hard, that specificity was still sort of like a part of her, so that later it would make sense. So I did find that.
About to leave, and I remember I got there and I was like, wow, that was 11. This is the show we're making. You have to sort of bring your A game, because it was, it's unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It's kind of great to sort of see those things you're not in as well, to just sort of experience it, because it informs what you're doing and who you're doing it with, and that sort of familiarity in essence. I'm lucky enough that I have a long-standing relationship with Lulu, but it was getting to meet everybody and sort of really see the show we're making in essence, and it's amazing. I remember that was my first night meeting Nicole as well. So even though I wasn't on that, it was such a sort of nice being welcomed in with such open arms. Like, now you're part of this family, this amazing family. It was special from day one.
I'm glad you were there.
I mean, we saw it when we watched her on tape, because it was all cast during when we were locked down, and it was very, very difficult to get this made. Obviously, it's a hard thing when you go, yeah, it's a film, kind of, but 6 parts, but it's about grief and trauma, and it was hard. This whole show was hard. But what was easy was knowing these two were I just knew. I kept saying to her, you have got nothing to worry about. You've got this. And she, I don't know, it's just intuitive. And watching her then seeing it all finally and going, oh my God, because it's an exquisite performance from both these women and this whole cast here, because as much as we're talking about women, we're also supported by these very, very generous, talented men.
Yeah.
And very grateful that they show up for us.
But I guess, I don't know, maybe it's that we all deserve mercy in a way, and particularly this character of Mercy, who makes mistakes and is just quite, I don't even know if you can say flawed. She's so young, and what support does she have? And she's dealing with, all kinds of generational trauma and a toxic relationship with her mother. So in a way, we build the show, and in the book as well, you're like, I don't like her. She does all the things wrong, but in a way, you grow to have compassion. Did I get it right? Yeah, okay, thumbs up. I got a thumbs up.
I think it was so, it's a little bit about, similar to what Nick was talking about. I was really scared. I was scared of how to do justice to this storyline. I was scared of how raw it was, and the combination of going there and really sort of doing that service to the material, which was so impeccably written. And that's the gift, right? Is when it's so impeccably written, you actually don't have to do much, but you do have to be willing to bear your being. You have to just say, okay, let's go on this ride. And I think that storyline, and then the one in episode 6 as well, I was just feeling a lot of like, oh, this is like the depths of everything to really, it was scary. I mean, I haven't actually seen it since the screening. And it's so like vulnerable even to watch it, because it just feels like, wow.
It's powerful.
Knows all the words.
Yeah, well, I wrote it, so. But Nick would always be like, I can't sing, I don't know the lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
And then she would just bust it out.
It's true.
You know? You're like, come on.
It was really one of my favorite scenes. I didn't get to eat all those noodles. That was a really fun.
So many
Bring all the
noodles.
noodles. Yeah.
Little known thing too, Nicole can really take a lot of spice because she can be like, more pepper, more spice. Of all people,
Do hot ones one day.
Yes, where's
Sean
Sean?
Evans.
We're gonna get you on that show.
Much in binaries, and the amazing thing about setting this in Hong Kong is that it's just an organic way to explore like this microcosm of so many different types of expats are not, you know, all Western, for example, and the relationship with the people who work for them, like it was important to discern how they actually treat their workers very differently. Like Hilary has this like, she's an employee, you have to have boundaries, you know, and Margaret is like, no, she's family, and there's this like Western kind of guilt that's brought, and the show and the way that it's written in the novel as well is that there's no judgment of which one is right or wrong. It's just a different approach. And a lot of the power dynamics are so subtle and specific, and everyone here was just so game to play these roles that they knew were not necessarily likable, and that they were complicated in the way that they were, you know, gonna be seen. And it was so great that they were just like, let's do it.
I would only do that. Absolutely. Yeah, no, it was, we're funny, aren't we, actors? We're gluttons for punishment. It informs us, it helps us. It's, we got to Hong Kong and we'd all been on lockdown, and you know, we love to work, and we weren't allowed to work for such a long time. So what a special thing to be able to go back to work and do something as incredible as this show and everything that what it was about. I mean, it was, you know, you welcome these moments because you're like, shit, this is when you get to the heart of it. This is the character, these are the people. Our biggest conversation on that day, I think, we were talking about this, Ji-young, was about the sock.
Yeah.
That he's in a state of undress, and you know, like suddenly you're not really thinking, so he's putting on his sock and you just forget where you are because it's so revealing that he doesn't get, you know, who puts on their socks before their underwear as well? Like, you're not thinking about that shit, you're just going through the motions. And yeah, that was our trust, man. That was me and Lulu. What you didn't realize is on one of our first takes was everyone was sort of around the room, you know, having to hide or do what it was. I had no idea, but on my very first take, me completely stark butt naked, going through different, I open up the case, I open up a cupboard, and Lulu's in the cupboard.